You can owe exactly the same amount on your credit cards as someone else, have the exact same total credit limit, and still have a worse credit score. The reason? Your credit report doesn't just see one number, it sees 6. Credit scoring models were designed to predict one thing: how likely you are to miss a payment in the next 2 years. Researchers analyzing millions of credit files found that people who max out individual cards miss payments more often than people who spread balances across multiple cards, even when the total debt is identical. That pattern became baked into the FICO formula in 1989, and every major scoring system since has copied it. The math you do when you check your total balance divided by your total limit, that's only half the equation. The other half happens card by card, behind the scenes, every time your score updates. Credit utilization is the percentage of your available credit you're currently using. If you have a card with a $5,000 limit and a $1,000 balance, your utilization on that card is 20%. The 30% guideline exists because FICO's research showed default rates climb noticeably once people cross that threshold on any single card. It's not a hard rule programmed into the algorithm. Scores don't suddenly drop at 31%, but it marks where the statistical risk curve starts bending upward. Think of it like a restaurant health inspection. The inspector doesn't just look at your overall cleanliness score. They check the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the dining area separately. One filthy bathroom tanks your grade even if the kitchen is spotless. Credit bureaus do the same thing with your cards. Every month, your credit card issuers report 2 numbers to the 3 major bureaus: your current balance and your credit limit. The bureau divides balance by limit to get your utilization ratio for that specific card. Then it calculates your overall ratio by adding up all your balances and dividing by the sum of all your limits. Both numbers go into your credit file. Scoring models read both. Here's example math to see the difference. Person A has 2 cards. Card 1 has a $10,000 limit with a $9,000 balance. Card 2 has a $10,000 limit with 0 balance. Total, $9,000 owed out of $20,000 available. That's 45% overall utilization. But look at the per card breakdown. Card 1 sits at 90% utilization. Card 2 is at 0. Person B also has 2 cards with $10,000 limits each, but they split the $9,000 balance evenly, $4,500 on card 1, $4,500 on card 2. Their overall utilization is also 45%, same total debt, same total credit. But per card, they're at 45% on each card. No card is anywhere near maxed. When FICO calculates their scores, person B typically scores 10 to 30 points higher than person A, even though the raw numbers, total debt, and total available credit are identical. The algorithm flags person A's 90% utilization on card 1 as high-risk behavior. It doesn't matter that they have $10,000 of untouched credit sitting on card 2. The model interprets maxing out one card as a sign you might be financially stretched, hunting for available credit wherever you can find it. Now scale that to real credit reports. Most people have between 3 and 5 cards. The scoring model runs utilization calculations 6 times, once for each individual card, once for all cards combined, and once for aggregate categories like total revolving credit. If even one card crosses 70 or 80%, that single data point drags your score down, even if your other 4 cards have small balances. The 30% guideline applies to both levels. Ideally, no single card goes above 30%, and your overall utilization across all cards stays below 30%. But if you have to choose, say you're paying down debt slowly, the per card number matters more in most scoring models. Paying one card from 90% down to 20% typically moves your score more than paying 3 cards from 40% down to 30%, even if the dollar amounts are identical. The biggest confusion is thinking credit bureaus average your utilization. They don't. If you have 5 cards at 10% and 1 card at 90%, your score doesn't see 33% average. It sees 5 low utilization accounts and 1 high utilization red flag. The high one pulls more weight. Second misconception, 0% utilization is perfect. It's not. Scoring models want to see you using credit responsibly, not avoiding it. People with 0 balances reported often score slightly lower than people with balances between 1 and 10%, because the algorithm has no recent evidence of how you handle debt. You don't need to pay interest to show utilization. Just let a small balance report before paying it off. Third, closing a card with 0 balance helps your utilization. It does the opposite. If you have 2 cards with $10,000 limits and you close the one with no balance, you just cut your total available credit in half. If you're carrying any balance on the remaining card, your utilization percentage doubles instantly. The closed account eventually falls off your report, taking $15,000 or $50,000 of credit history with it. Utilization only counts reported balances. Most issuers report your balance on your statement closing date, not your due date. If you charge $4,000 on a $5,000 limit card but pay it down to $500 before the statement cuts, the Bureau sees 10% utilization, not 80%. That's why some people double pay their cards, once mid-cycle to lower the reported balance, once after the statement to avoid interest. Business cards often don't report to personal credit bureaus unless you miss payments. You can max out a business card with no utilization impact on your personal score, as long as you stay current. The opposite is also true. Paying down a business card won't improve your personal utilization metrics. Charge cards, American Express Green, Gold, Platinum, have no preset spending limit, so they usually don't count toward utilization at all. But if Amex reports a balance with no corresponding limit, some scoring models treat the balance itself as the limit, giving you 100% utilization. It's rare, but it happens. Store cards and secured cards follow the same utilization math as regular credit cards. A maxed out secured card with a $300 limit hurts your score just like a maxed out card with a $30,000 limit. The algorithm doesn't weight by card size. Per card utilization is a yes or no risk flag, not a dollar-weighted average. Credit utilization is calculated two ways, per card and across all cards combined. Both calculations matter, but per card utilization typically carries more weight in scoring models because maxing out individual cards statistically predicts payment problems. The 30% guideline exists because default rates increase above that threshold, not because of a hard rule in the algorithm. Understanding the difference between overall and per card math explains why two people with identical total debt can have different credit scores, and why paying down the card closest to its limit usually moves your score more than spreading payments evenly.